What's up, guys? We're back with another video, and in this video I'm going to talk about how you don't actually need more money. You actually need a voice. That's what you actually desire. And expressing yourself and developing your authentic voice and your unique voice is actually what's going to get you more money, and what's actually going to help you build a business or get the promotion in your job or resolve the relationship issues that you're having in an intimate relationship or a relationship with your family or your friends or your colleagues or coworkers. And how when you stifle your inner voice and when you stifle your expression and your authenticity and your genuine you being you, that results in you making less money. It results in you experiencing less love and connection in your relationships, and it ultimately results in you becoming depressed and sick and unhealthy. It results in you stagnating in your life and being in a place that you don't want to be. So solving this issue of honoring your inner voice and developing your inner voice and getting your voice out there and expressing yourself is a fundamental thing that we need to address in our lives. Okay? And I want to tell you guys a story about someone I know. I'm not going to name names or single them out, but someone I know that works in a production, that works in a industry that has a lot of money. I'll just say the industry, it's advertising. And currently they're in a position at their company where they're making pretty decent money. They're making just under $100,000. And they are seeking a promotion to the next level in their company. But this person has a tough time with speaking up when it comes to company calls, when they're on company calls, when it comes to in-person networking and company meetings and meetups. They're very quiet, they're very reserved, and they're very shy, and they're scared to speak up and just speak and use their voice. And this person is really, really good at their job. They always get everything done on time, in a timely manner, in a really great way. But in order to get up to this next level in their company, these soft skills are really what's needed to make connections on the next level and do business at a higher level. And this is common across all industries. Having the ability to speak up and speak authentically and genuinely opens you up to making connections with other people. And when you make connections with other people, people that are authentic and genuine, people want to do business with you, and people are able to connect with you and want to keep you around. And money starts to, and opportunities begin to open up to you when you find your authentic voice. So this is an example of an issue in the professional sector, right? You have a career, you have a job, and you feel like, I do my job really well, but now I'm trying to get to that next level, that executive level, and my soft skills are just not there, and it's holding me back from making more money. And it's not, this is the point that I'm making here. It's not actually the money that you want, and it's not actually the money that's going to give you fulfillment. I know most people are like, yeah, no, it is. I want the money. I want the fulfillment. I want the money. I want the car. I want the house. And it's not that. It's actually that you want to be heard, and you want to be seen, and you want to have connections, and you want to be feeling like you're making an impact and an influence in the industry or in the work that you're doing. And the only way that you're going to do that is by expressing and developing your voice and being open and authentic and speaking up. And most people have blockages when it comes to speaking up and being open and authentic. The first blockage is the fear of judgment. Most people are so afraid of being judged by others. Most people don't speak up because they feel like they're going to say the wrong thing, or they're going to look like an idiot. So as a defense mechanism, most people remain quiet, especially when it's in group settings, like a company call or Zoom call, and someone's saying like, hey, like, does anyone in the group have a question or something? And you might have a question, and you don't say it because you think that it's going to be a stupid question and people are going to judge you. So this real fear of being rejected by the group is really what actually costs you from making more money and getting to that next level. But it also costs you in enjoying your job, enjoying your work, and enjoying working with other people. So that's an example in the professional sector of a blockage. You know, another blockage to expressing yourself and being open is really just this. Again, it goes back to a fear of rejection, this fear of being judged, and the solution to this fear of being judged is to stop judging other people. And this is probably one of the most difficult things to do, because this comes down to having a clear awareness on your ego. And for most of you, you have to understand that your ego is really going to cost you for making more money. And I'll tell you why. Because this is how the ego works. The ego works in a way in which the ego tries to bring itself up or make itself feel superior to other people. And one of the ways in which the ego does this is it will put other people down. So it will judge other people. So when someone else in that group speaks up, the ego says, oh, wow, she asked a stupid question. Isn't she an idiot? So by putting her down, or that whoever that person was, now you feel like you've elevated yourself. Your ego has elevated itself, and you feel like you're superior. But when it comes time for you to speak, the ego gets threatened because it fears that someone else is going to judge you and put you down. So you remain quiet. So having the awareness that this is happening in your company calls or in your group dynamics or whatever it may be is the first step to being free of it. Because if you can stop judging other people, then that fear of being judged by other people begins to disappear, which is super powerful, because then you have more freedom to speak up in company calls or group calls or whatever. And when your voice is being heard and seen by other people, it's actually to your benefit, because and especially if you're speaking from an honest place and an authentic place. Because when you're speaking from an honest place and an authentic place and a genuine place, people really appreciate that. People really appreciate when you speak up and speak your mind and speak honest and speak freely. And in some cases, it can get you in trouble. But when you think about it in the long term, it's like, why would you want to be in a place or a company where you're not free to speak your mind and speak honestly and authentically and genuinely? That's not a place or a game that you want to be in anyway. So why not speak honestly and authentically from the get-go? So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, moving into being someone who's like a creator, an entrepreneur, and an artist, the biggest problem that I see with most people is their fear of posting. They have posting anxiety. And when you have posting anxiety, it's like this, right? You make a video like this, and then you feel like this is not good enough to post because it's a low production value or something, or I didn't say things perfectly, so I have to not post this, and I have to go write a script, and I have to go get a better production value. And you think of all these things that you have to do in order to share your voice with other people. And ultimately what this leads to is you don't make the thing that you want to make, because there's just so much stress and pressure that you put on yourself that you've literally sucked out the joy of speaking up and talking and speaking like I'm doing in this video. So the way to combat that is literally just to take things down to what we call like the minimal viable product. It's literally just take your idea and boil it down to the most simple way you can get your voice out there. So like, for example, for this, I have this message in this video that it's not money that you actually want. It's speaking up and speaking your voice and speaking genuinely and authentically. So yeah, sure, I could have written out a whole script. I could have went into my room and created a high production value video with good lighting and stuff like that. But if I thought about doing all that, I probably wouldn't have made that video ever. So I think about, okay, what's the minimal viable product for that topic in that video? It's okay, I got some thoughts about this topic. I'm gonna go outside in my backyard and I'm gonna get my iPhone and I'm just gonna speak freely on the topic, right? So it's a lot easier just to take things down and boil them down to the most simple component or deliverable that you can think of and just do that instead. Now, do I have a fear of being rejected on this platform, on YouTube or whatnot? No, I don't, because if people don't resonate or vibe with what I'm saying, then they don't have to subscribe to my channel. They can just not watch my videos. And ultimately, if I'm saying something that YouTube doesn't like, then maybe it's not a platform that I want to be on anyway. So there's this importance of speaking honestly, authentically, and freely, because you attract your crowd. It's whenever you speak, whenever you use your voice, you're really just putting out a signal to the world and telling other people like, hey, this is who I am, this is what I believe in, this is how I feel in this moment. And there's always going to be some people that just don't resonate with what you're saying and they don't agree with what you're saying, and that's completely fine. There's going to be another side of it where there's people who are like, this is exactly how I think, or this is exactly what I've been thinking, and I really resonate and vibe with what this guy's saying. And now you have essentially created a tribe. You start building relationships authentically with people because you're able to speak up and speak freely. Another area in life that I see this manifesting in is in dating. A lot of people feel like they can't speak freely in their dates because, for guys, maybe they want to get laid, or for girls, they just want to have a boyfriend or husband or whatever, so they don't want to say the wrong thing or something like that. And that's really just a wrong approach. Again, if you're watching your words and not speaking freely and not talking about your values and what you believe in, you're really doing the other person and yourself a injustice. You're wasting time, and down the line at some point you guys are going to figure out that you're not compatible, you don't share the same values, and you just wasted a whole lot of time together. And you could have saved yourself a lot of time and a lot of headache, just by being honest from the beginning about whatever it is, whoever you are and what you believe in your authentic voice. Now, there's a last final part about this topic that I want to discuss, and it has to do with the fact that money is not going to fulfill you in the long run. I know that when it comes to survival and basic living expenses, we need money, yes. And I think that as an adult, once you get past 18 years old, it's your responsibility to figure out what you need to do to make money and to live and pay your rent and get food and have insurance and all those things. So yeah, you might have to get a job that maybe at first you don't really like. But in the long run, what we actually seek as human beings, our primal desire, and what I believe is one of the reasons that we manifested our bodies in this life, is to express ourselves. It's to express our authentic voices. It's to make art, or it's to master some craft, or it's to write poetry or make music. I feel like this is really one of the core, essential, innate desires of being a human being, is we just want to let our light shine. And unfortunately, our light has become dimmed and blocked by self-judgment and unfortunately, most human beings are just living in the zombie-like state where they just completely stifle their voice and they just become a zombie. Most people are zombies. You can see it in their eyes. People who work 9 to 5s for 30 years and just, it's really sad. It's really sad to see it. I don't like to see that. I don't like to encounter and meet people who are in that state of being. Unfortunately, most people are in that state of being. So I'm here to tell you that it's not more money that you desire. It is expressing yourself, which you desire. That's the main point of this video. The solution to expressing yourself is to just do that. Express yourself. And that's what this channel is about. It's about expressing yourself. It's about finding the blockages within you that are keeping you from expressing yourself. One of the blockages, the main blockages, is the fear of being judged by others, and ultimately the fear of rejection. That's sort of our biggest fear as a human being, is to be rejected and cast out from the rest of the tribe, the rest of the group. We're afraid to record videos raw like this one and post them on the internet because we feel like, oh, someone at our job's going to judge us, or our parents are going to judge us, or our friend's going to judge us, or our distant family friend. Who gives a what about what those people think? Because if you're speaking honestly and authentically, that's the real you. And at the end of the day, I only want to be surrounded by the people who vibe with who I really am at the core of my being. And I know that that's the truth for you too, if you're watching this video. So I encourage you that whatever it is that you've been wanting to do, or whatever it is that you want to get, maybe you want the promotion or you want the car or whatever. Really what you want, here's the final point that I want to make. You make a mistake when you feel like you need to get something outside of yourself to fulfill you, right? You feel like you feel empty inside, and a lot of people feel like this emptiness needs to be filled with something outside of themselves. So it manifests differently. Some people feel like, yeah, I need to fill that emptiness by getting a promotion at work, so I'm going to work really hard so I can get a promotion. Or some people just feel like I need more money so that I can buy something that fills that void within me, right? So they feel like I need to buy a car, and other people, and that'll fill the void. Or I need to buy a, I don't know, something flashy and shiny, and that's gonna fill the void. Like, once other people see me have that flashy, shiny thing, then that's gonna fill the void that I feel within myself. But I'm telling you right now that approach is wrong, and you can talk to all the people in the world who have read autobiographies or biographies of famous people or celebrities who pretty much had it all. An artist that I've been following recently, his name's David Cho. He's the artist who painted the headquarters for Facebook, and he basically became a multimillionaire because he painted the headquarters at Facebook, and he received stock in Facebook before they even went public. And then his stock, when they went public, was worth like $200 million. And he was doing drugs, and he was partying and gambling, and had many, many women and prostitutes. He had everything. Basically anything that money could buy you, he had it. And he ended up feeling the most empty that he's ever felt in his life. And because he realized that there's nothing outside of you that you can get that's going to make you feel more full or better about yourself. And really what it is, and he was in an interesting position because he's an artist, and it's a role of the artists in society to express from within something outside into the world. That's a role of artists. That's our role as artists, is we look within ourselves and say, hey, what's the gold that's within us that desires to surface? And it's our role as artists to get out of our own way and to allow what needs to be said to be said. It can be through artwork, it can be through music, it can be through a business or creating products. Whatever it is, our role is to flip society's narrative, which is we're empty inside and we need to go get something outside of ourselves to fill the void. No, instead, our role as artists is to show the world that we have gold within ourselves, and each and every one of us has gold within ourselves, and that gold is supposed to be expressed, and our goal is to speak up, and that's how we transform the world. So that's my rant for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's not more money that you want. You just want to express yourself more, and express yourself honestly and authentically, because that's really what's going to bring you a long-lasting fulfillment in your life. Peace out.